Hi, this is Jay, and this is my third video. Um, this time I'm going to approach the whole the self and the logic of how the self is one infinite consciousness. I'm going to approach this in a different way. Basically, not the way I did it the first time. Where I first established what you or am not, and then went about from the other end of the spectrum, with the universe and how the universe is created, and from there link the two. This time I'm just going to start with the self, and go inwards and establish what we are. So bear with me. So if you guys remember, the way we started with oneself is we use the logic of the subject object, like in English and basically in science, and that is the subject cannot be the object. So anything that I'm aware of, I cannot be, right? I cannot be the tree because I'm aware of the tree. I cannot be the pot because I'm aware of the pot. Similarly, I cannot be my hand because I'm not the hand. I'm aware of it. I cannot be my body because I'm aware of my body. Similarly, I cannot be the life force that animates this body, what we call prana in Sanskrit, because I am not it. I'm aware of this life force that flows through me, that flows through my body, in the form of breath. Similarly, I cannot be anything in the mind. I cannot be the mind itself because I'm aware of the mind. I'm aware of all the different functions or states of the mind. I'm aware of the mind as an ego. Every time I think of myself as so and so, I'm Jay, I'm an engineer, I'm a philosopher, I'm a husband, all these different things, all these different thoughts. They're I thoughts, as in thoughts about me, they're nothing but ego. So I'm aware of the ego, and so I cannot be the ego. I'm aware of my analytical capabilities. Every time I reason or analyze something, that faculty of the mind, the analytical aspect, is called the buddhi in Sanskrit. So I'm not that either. I'm not the buddhi. Then I'm not the emotional mind, the mind that feels, the mind that dilly-dallies, it goes back and forth, the should I not to be, that kind of thing. All that comes under the emotional mind, which is called manaha in Sanskrit. So I am not the manaha, I am not the buddhi, the analytical mind. I am not the memory, when the mind is remembering stuff all the way back from my childhood, from my birth even. Some people have that memory. Anyway, all those memories, it all comes under a separate faculty of the mind called chitta. So I am not the chitta either, or the memory faculty of the mind. And I am not, let's categorize this broadly. So there should be four. The mind broadly can be categorized into the ego, the reasoning faculty, the emotional mind, and the which includes the whole back and forth, the inability to decide, and the memory. These four faculties make up the mind broadly. So ego, as in ahankara, in Sanskrit it's called ahamkara. Aham means I, kara is thought, ahankara, the I thought. Two is the reasoning capacity, that's the buddhi. Three is manaha, the feeling mind, and four is memory, chitta. So I am not any of these because I'm aware of them, right? At any point of time, I'm aware of them. Similarly, I'm not my body, nor am I the life force that animates this body, and nor am I the senses. The sense of smell, the sense of touch, the sense of vision. I'm not any of them because I'm aware of all of them, just as the subject is aware of an object. I am the subject, and all these things that I'm aware of are objects. So I am not them, right? So, furthermore, from there we can proceed to one more piece of logic. So basically, anything that I'm aware of, right? Obviously, it has to have a form, right? That's how I'm aware of it. But we know from science that matter, besides not being creatable or destroyable, occupies space and has form, right? And undergoes change. These are basic properties of matter. So matter is that which occupies space. The moment you say occupies space, it obviously has to have a form, and it undergoes change, constant change. So anything that has these properties is matter. So if we look at everything that I'm aware of, all the way down from my ego, all the way down to my body, they all come under the category of matter. Why? Because they occupy space, which means they have form, and they undergo change. They're always undergoing change, right? So what does that mean? They're all matter. And what is matter? Matter is inert, right? But I am a conscious being, right? I am self-aware and I'm aware of everything around me. So that means I'm a conscious being, but they're inert, matter. So that's another distinction. If you don't want to use the logic of subject object, you can use the simple logic of matter and not matter, I and not I, right? Anything that I'm aware of becomes matter. Why? Because it occupies space, it has a form, and it undergoes constant change. But I am a conscious being. I don't undergo any change. Therefore, I am not that. So I am not any of these body, mind, sense complex. Now, you might say, how do you know that I'm not changing? Well, let's examine that. So, let's take myself at age 2, okay? So, let's try. If you write it down, it'll be I am 2 years old, okay? Now, do you remember when you were 2 years old? Okay, fine, let's make that 3 years old, because I remember when I was 3 years old. So I'll put that down. I am 3 years old, okay? I am a 3-year-old baby, right? Now, I remember that. Now, let's proceed a little further into my life, and let's say I'm 10 years old. So I am 10 years old. I'm a 10-year-old boy. Do I remember that? Yes, I do. I have certain memories about that. Now let's proceed to say 30 years old. So I am 30 years old. I'm a 30-year-old man. I remember that. Yes. Well, before that, okay, 20 years old. I am a 20-year-old young man. Then I am a 40-year-old man. I am a 60-year-old man. Okay. I am an 80-year-old man. Now, if you look at all these sentences, it all starts with I am. I am a 3-year-old baby. I am a 10-year-old boy. I am a 20-year-old man. I am a 40-year-old man, and so on. Now, if I ask you, do you remember yourself at all those different ages in your life? You will say yes. Yes, you remember. Why? Because you were there. Your body may have been different. It may have been smaller. It may have been younger. And the same with your senses and your mind. Your ego may have been different because you identified with that small body, so you saw yourself as a small boy or as a young man. But you were always there, right? I. If you just take out that I am and all those sentences, you will see that the what is it called? The predicate, I think, in English, the subject and the predicate. If I'm wrong, forgive me. Anyway, that part of the sentence is different in all those different ages of mine in my lifetime. But the I am is constant throughout, right? What does that mean? That means that there is a constant element in all that. That is I, me. And that has to be. Why? Because in order for me to string all those different experiences together, all those different points of time in my life, I have to be the same I, right? Just imagine if I change, if the subject itself changes, okay? So you have I am a 3-year-old baby, and then at 10 years old, there is a different I, okay? So it becomes I am a 10-year-old boy. Now this 10-year-old boy, the I there, doesn't know the 3-year-old I, okay? They're two different I's. What will happen? It's chaos. In other words, my memory will be limited to how long this particular I remains. Now if it changes, there'll be some other I. So at different points in time, there'll be different I's, and there will be no continuity of your experience. So you cannot have any kind of continuity of your experiences. You cannot string them together. You cannot have a lifetime, right? The only way you can have a lifetime is if there is that constant I throughout. That part that doesn't change, that is there as a witness. There has to be a witness to observe all the changes in your life, to observe the baby Okay, the boy, the young man, the older man, the old man, and so on and so forth. So that makes it very clear. There is a changeless element, and that is me, I, the conscious being, that doesn't change. Okay, so now we establish that I am changeless. Not only am I not this body mind sense complex, but I am also changeless. I have to be in order to be able to witness all the events of my lifetime. Right? Yeah. So, what do we know about myself thus far? I am a conscious being, right? Because I'm aware of myself and I'm aware of the world around me, which begins with my body mind sense complex. And I'm a conscious being, I'm self conscious and conscious of, okay? And I am changeless. We have a new element now. I am changeless. I don't change. What does that mean? If I don't change, what does that mean? We just established that matter is that which occupies space. It has a form, obviously, if it occupies space, and it undergoes constant change, right? So, if I am changeless, it means I'm the opposite of matter, right? Right. So, what does that mean? If I am changeless, it means that I cannot have a form. Because if I had a form, I would undergo change, right? Anything that has a form and occupies space undergoes change. But since I'm changeless, I cannot have a form. If I cannot have a form, it means I'm formless. The moment you say I'm formless, what does that mean? If I'm formless, I cannot be limited by space, right? Because the moment I have a form, I am limited by space. Anything that has a form is limited by space, is within the confines of space. But if you remove form, formless means spatially limitless, right? I cannot be limited by space, which means I am space-wise limitless. Which means what? Which means I pervade space. Which means wherever there is space, there I am. So I am spatially limitless. And further, I am changeless. So not only do I not have a form, but since I don't change, I am time-wise limitless, right? Because I'm the same. I don't change in time, which means I'm free from time. Which means not only am I space-wise limitless, but I'm time-wise limitless. So if you take space-wise limitless and time-wise limitless, that covers the whole universe, right? That's it. Basically, in other words, I am limitless with respect to the whole universe. In other words, I pervade space and I pervade time. What do you mean by pervade time? Which means if I am time-wise limitless, it means that wherever there is time, I am. In other words, I am in the past, I am in the present, and I am in the future. That's kind of mind-blowing, if you think about it. That means that I am the witness of time. And if you think about that, that means I've always been there. As far back as you want to go, I've always been there. And as far forward as you want to go, I'll still be there. That's what consciousness is. That's what being free from time is. That's what being free from space is. Free from space meaning I'm formless, I'm limitless spatially. And I'm time-wise limitless. Okay? That means I'm the witness of time. Time itself is something that I witness. Time comes and goes, but I remain. The whole universe comes and goes, but I remain. I am just the witness of the universe. So I'm time-wise limitless, I'm space-wise limitless, which means I'm basically limitless. In other words, the moment you're limitless, it means whatever the limiting factor was, you pervade that, right? That's what it means. If you say I'm space-wise limitless, that means space cannot limit me. It can only limit me if I have a form. If it cannot limit me, that means I pervade space. So I am in the form of space, and similarly, since time cannot limit me, I am in the form of time. In other words, I am in the form of the whole universe, right? That's it. Basically, I am an infinite conscious being that pervades the whole universe, that pervades space and time itself, and everything that's in space and time. So I am a conscious being that is limitless, that is in the form of this whole universe, right here and now. Yes, I have this body, but this body is here in this point, at this location, in California, United States of America, in this world. That's only where this body is. I'm not just here, I'm everywhere. And I'm nowhere because I don't have a form, right? So I'm limitless. Sitting here right now, with this cup of coffee, drinking coffee, I can say that while I'm sitting here in California talking to you, I am limitless. I am spatially and time-wise limitless. I am in the form of the whole universe. I can do that. So can you. That's the nature of limitlessness, right? You can be here and you can be everywhere, right? It's like that example of a circle. I think Ramakrishna or Vivekananda or somebody said that, that if you think of the individual is a circle with its center at one point or something like that, whereas the infinite God, if you want to call it, is a circle with infinite radius or with infinite circumference, with its center at every point. I'm not sure if I got that right, but you get what I'm saying. In other words, I am everywhere, and I can also be here. I can be in the form of this body mind sense complex. I can be in the form of this table that I'm sitting at. I can be in the form of that person walking down the street. It's all me. Right here and now, it's all me. Nothing needs to change. I'm already everything. So that's it. We established the same thing that I spoke about in the first video, but I went a different route. There, I first established what I'm not here, and then left it at that, as in I'm just a conscious being, and then I went to the other extreme, to the macro. I started the micro, and then I went to the macro, and I went to the universe and how the universe is created, and then I linked the two. In this video, I just went straight into myself and established what I am. So basically, I am everything. I hope you guys understood, and yeah, if you have any questions, just text me or whatever on Facebook. Yeah, I think everybody knows my. If you don't know, I'll just give it to you in a second. Yeah, so basically my Facebook page is www.facebook.com/nirvana4u2. That's all lowercase, NIRVANA, for the number 4, U, small case u, and the number 2. So that's Nirvana4u2. Facebook.com/Nirvana for the number 4, U, 2, again the number 2. Okay, and that's the page, that's the self-knowledge thing. And then there's my main page, which would be Facebook.com/Jay Hegde, which is JAIHEGDE. That's it. So if you have any questions, you can send me a message on there, or you can chat with me on there, or whatever, or you can even email me, and I'll get it and I'll respond. In fact, this is something that's very close to my heart. It's something that I've been working on, been studying for many years, and it's something that I feel very deeply about. I did when I first started, and I still do, and it's something that's very close to me, and that's why I'm making these videos now, because I feel the need to give back. I've taken a lot. We all do, but some of us give back, and I haven't, and so it's my turn to give back, and this is how I want to give back. I want to spread this knowledge to all those who are interested in it, or who want to know more about who I am and what this is all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you. I'll see you soon.